so good to be with you today. I have some exciting news, some topics that are going to be presented to you in a little bit different ways. What's exciting is that I'm very, very excited about the topics and also the format. So here's the news. The topics are juicy, but the format is what you might be interested in. I am going to bring people in our community, people who listen to musings, and thank you for everybody who is listening. It means so much to me. I've gotten feedback from people, and I've decided to bring them on for conversations. So my first one will be coming up next Thursday, and it's with Jeannie Bernkrant. And we have a really vibrant conversation. And the reason I would like to bring people on, so if this means you, please email me that you would like to consider coming on. And the consideration is if I've said something or you've wondered about a spiritual / psychological topic and you don't quite have the answer for yourself. And the way you know that is that it keeps coming up for you as a consideration. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a person, and this is one of Jeannie's topics that came up, that you've done enough spiritual work to see the value of living a surrendered life. And whether you're a mainstream Christian or a Course in Miracles person or a non-dual person, person meaning that's been your pathway, you'll have different names for the predicament. But what Jeannie asked was, how do I make choices if I'm not the doer, if I'm trying to follow spirit? How do I have goals? How do I make plans? How do I have an intention? And so we discussed that topic. And I'm not saying I have the answers. I have the answers for me for most of the time. And what I desire for you is that you find your own answers, your ways to put the juicy topics into a way of life that is peaceful, rather than questioning, is this it? Is this it? Should I? Can't I? Will I? Should I? Do I want to? What do I want? What does spirit want? These, I know, are some topics that you might enjoy listening to Jeannie and I discuss next week. And then I have somebody coming up named Sabine from Vienna, and she would like to talk about the American perspective of more. Sometimes we're aware that more is not necessarily better, but other times we think more is a sign of success. More is better. More love, more money, more affection, more talking, more not talking, more whatever your subject is. And she has a unique perspective on that because she does not live in the United States. So one of the, let's say, what shall I call it? One of the ways we'll decide whether our conversation will air is if you and I both decide we'd like to air it. So just by talking with me, you would be agreeing to video it on Zoom. But then you still have a chance to say, this is too personal, or this didn't go where I would like to have public, and you can still have a veto. Because I think the conversations are very worthwhile, whether we get to share them on a Thursday musing or not. What I really get out of it is to hear back from you. Where are you on these topics? So I'm looking over at my notes to look at what are some of the other intros to this next new phase. And I want to say it's a new idea, it's a new plan, but the way I live, I scrap everything, every plan, every idea, every decision, every whatever you want to call it, choice. If the next moment shows me no, and there's no ego or very little involved. So that's the way I even do every day. I can't help my mind from making a list, like today's the day to videotape, or today it would be a really good idea to do some exercise. Maybe I've noticed I haven't left my desk for days. But if and when, because it happens frequently, I don't do the things on the list, I understand that's of a higher value what I actually do, because I believe so powerfully in the isness of what is. I'm at peace with what I did. Why? Because I did it on one level. So what's the point of saying I should have exercised, or I should have done whatever, should have made a videotape? What's the point? But on another level, once again, my teaching has been with my daughter passing away. The isness of her dying is the only way I can have peace. If I went to what if, or I should have, or she should have, back into trouble. But let's notice I use the word belief. This is so important. I really want you to listen in. Beliefs affect your experience. So my believing in the isness of her dying, means I actually also believe in interwoven destinies, that Melissa and I, and Melissa and whoever she met in her life, had interwoven destinies. But you can't have that part-time, that point of view, and also believe in free choice. Because if you believe in free choice and you're the mother, you're going to say, well, I should have made Melissa go to such and such a doctor, no matter that she was 39. I offered her the specialized doctor to check into her unusual symptoms. But she would probably be alive today, or maybe, if I believe in free choice. So I'll be full of ideas like that. What I should have done, what she could have done, what would have should have happened. So can you see there's really no way And it's frequent that we try to do a little bit of free choice and then deal with the overall plan comes from spirit. It doesn't work. My experience is it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for the people I witness. How it seems to work is that when one's in a meditative experience, when one's meditating or praying, and you say, "Thy will, not my will," and you mean it. But if that doesn't follow through the rest of the day, then you only meant it for the moment. Because whichever you live by is what you believe in. So let's go back to beliefs. If you have a belief, I am unhelpable, there's something wrong with me, there will always be something wrong with me, and it will be visible. It will show up in my life. I'll have an illness, I'll have many illnesses, I'll have eczema on my skin so everyone will see it. I'll be ostracized by people because I don't fit in. If I have those beliefs, remember the RAS that I spoke of eons ago, which is the reticular activating system. You don't need to know you don't need to know the letters, you don't need to know that term, but our brains will sort to find what we believe in. So our brains will sort to prove to us that we're right, even if the belief is there's something wrong with me, I don't fit in, and I'll never be okay. And so beliefs affect our experience, but they don't affect truth. That's so important. So if you really are worthy, because each and every person is more than what they did, what they thought, what they felt, those are temporary. But if we are made in the image of God, if we are part of life, if you don't use the word God, use the word life. A tree either stands or it doesn't in the storm, but it's not because what they did or didn't do. Some trees, yes, were infirm, and so they went over in the hurricane. But other trees were perfectly firm and they went over. So maybe it's not as personal as we've been taught to believe. So I'm going to stop very soon with this video because, as you know, I can go on and on. I get so excited. I would love for you to spend a little bit of time or a lot of time experimenting with either free choice, like everything's free choice, or everything is interwoven destinies. So I just want you to see, how do you feel when you believe it's free choice? I know we get excited by our choices and our goals, but do we end up blaming ourselves more when we don't live up to them? And look for the hidden judgment when there's a goal, when there's a shift of some kind of fixing. I'm going to be kinder. I'm going to be non-judgmental. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat whatever people say is clean. Whatever it is, notice the judgments, not just the high of when you think you're going to be better. remember too that this is conditioning to believe in fixing ourselves that will be better when we're at a different place. And everything we've been taught has not turned out to be true. Other cultures were taught the world was flat. Turns out it wasn't true. We still say, I'm going to look at the sunrise and the sunset. Doesn't rise and set. So maybe truth is something different from our beliefs. So if you would experiment, because later on we're going to talk more about the effects of believing in interwoven destinies. It's a very juicy topic for me, and it has brought such magnificent relief from psychological suffering to my life that I would love to offer to you and see if it helps you to feel more empowered and less judgmental, more peaceful, less critical, more available with presence to the next moment because you've let the isness of the last moment go. So see you soon. Bye for now.